it's a real pleasure for me as a longtime fan to be sitting here with Aaron Gray.
Here with Larry Hama.
We're talking with Kevin J. Anderson, best-selling author.
Mr. Neil Adams.
I am here with David Prince.
Axel Alonso, editor.
Shadow Stevens. And Devil's Comic-Con with John Delancey.
With Tom King.
Kevin Conroy.
Free comic book day.
Denise Crosby.
PopCon Pop Expo.
Here on location at Star Wars Celebration.
Sci-Fi Expo, talking for our second time with Gil Gerard.
Wichita, Kansas at Time Eddie.
Producer David Gerald.
I've got Eric Flint.
Are here at Smallville Comic-Con.
Wizard World St. Louis.
VillageCon in Bentonville, Arkansas.
Michael Lombardi.
We were talking with Alan Dean.
Quincy Allen.
Suzanne Lambden.
Founder of Starlog Magazine, Mr. Kerry Oakwin.
Chris Sabi.
Len Weed.
Dave Schwartz.
Mano Interami.
Chinese.
Aaron.
This is Sci-Fi for Me, your portal to the science fiction multiverse.
Welcome to Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
The Immortal Mask, a 1970 superhero crime noir adventure that follows a retired soldier who is given a covenant interview with a death row inmate. What he learns from the interview thrusts him into Atlanta's shadowy underworld. He'll have to utilize his military training to survive from being hunted for the information that could topple the most powerful ruling class in the city. This is not a pre-order or a crowdfunding campaign. Get your books now at denali's.com.
25 seconds to curtain, folks.
Are live with the LCS Guys show. If you're used to popping in here every other couple of weeks and watching me and Mike talk, and lately Fergal's been joining us, Mike's not here. What am I going to do? Well, Fergal is here, and we're going to get the good news from Michigan. And Dave Dyer has returned to where he began with the LCS Guys. Dave, so good to have you back. I'm going to throw you up top here. You two.
Been a long time, guys.
It's been too long, man.
Was that your commercial I saw before the show started? So
yes, sir.
I'm literally now dope sick, and I'm going to go get me one of them. I'm going to go make me one of them so I can get it on this thing, because I've got a couple ideas. It's gotta come. We do Facebook videos, but I'm like literally going to slick myself a commercial. I'm going to work it out. I don't know how yet, but I'm coming together with it.
We had that done.
Yeah, go ahead, tell him.
Yeah, we did that. My buddy Donald did that, who I've worked with. He also does World War Superman on YouTube, fan film, and so he shot that. We had that showing on the drive-in screen here in Belleville, Illinois. And,
you guys do a drive-in movie?
We still have a drive-in theater out here. Yeah.
So, you guys have a drive-in theater?
Yeah. Well, I don't
know. We actually do a drive-in at our store. We do one every Saturday in the summer months. We actually do our own drive. So I'm in a cul-de-sac. So we put a 25-foot inflatable screen up and provide free popcorn and soda, and just let folks come. All they got to do is bring their own chair, and we call it Movies That Don't Suck. And that's just that simple, man. It's just that easy.
This is the Skyview Drive-In, which is the oldest drive-in in the Midwest area now.
Nice,
and we bought ad space up there, and we had it up there for 2 years. This year, times are a little tough, so we had to cut back a little bit. So, but yeah, the commercial's done great for us. It drove a lot of business.
Nice.
At the time. It drove a lot of business toward us. So
nice.
Yeah,
that's pretty phenomenal. It's actually pretty dope. Like I said, I've been blessed that I've got, my brother works in Hollywood, so he actually, he worked on he won an Academy Award. He was on the special effects team that did The Whale for Castaway. So I mean, he's just kind of one of those big old Hollywood producer folks, and works
You and I both have brothers in Hollywood. My brother was sound editor for Star Trek Next Generation and just finished NCIS Los Angeles.
See, they're cooler.
I didn't even know you had a brother.
Yeah, I got 5 of them, man. So I got 5 brothers. It's all boys in my house.
I had 2 brothers, but my middle brother passed away.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so
I'm so sorry to hear that. No, I got 5 annoying ass brothers, man. They are something else. They're fun, but they're annoying as crap.
Yes, they are. Luckily, I love my older brother. In fact, he turns 75 next year.
You have a 75-year-old brother?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
And I turn 60. I turn 60 next year. Yeah. So we're going out to celebrate both birthdays. So
that's kind of dope, man. 60. You do not look 60, man.
Thank you.
You must have a black don't crack kind of situation going on because you don't look 60. Samuel L. Jackson's like 147 years old. I don't know.
Yes, he is.
He's like at least 147 at this point, and he's not aging at all. I think Denzel Jackson's somewhere up over 100 at this point. I don't know. You see that new trailer for Equalizer 3?
Hey.
He's still taking people out. Grandpa Denzel is still doing business in a way that's dope.
I swear to God, Fred the Hammer Wilson is 200 years old. So,
at least.
He still looks young. So
at least. So how are you, RJ?
I'm doing all right, but that it's not about me. This show's never about me. It's about you guys. And
oh man,
we started this. We started this 3 years ago when COVID hit, and it was me saying, "Hey, I'm stuck at home. How are the comic shops doing?" Because that's my passion, buying comics. And so I got a new Dave, local guy for me at the time. I knew Mike, who used to be my local guy, and we brought in Yule Carter from Sacramento.
Nice.
And we just said, and because it was 3 different environments. Michael had no shutdowns in Arkansas. For COVID. Sacramento was like completely locked down. And Dave was running bootleg out the back door.
I was a middle market
bootleg out the back door.
No crap. I was actually a middle market healthcare banking. So I mean, for me, it was a completely just really unique environment. So I mean, for 2 years I started as a just in healthcare and did nothing but PPP loans as a business banker, and then I moved up to the hospital space. And so I had like 20 clients, all like large health systems. So I had to get their weekly numbers, dying, dead, all kinds of craziness, and just everything that they weren't putting on the news, I had to get because we had money out to them. So I saw all that firsthand, day in and day out, and it was something else, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we ended up what was it, about 6 months in when Diamond shut down. This comic store that we thought was going to be the healthiest was the first one to close. That's when Michael closed both of his stores just because he wasn't getting product.
That's
still the case.
That's still the case. I mean, you still can't get product. I mean, if you're a small store, you're at the bottom of the list. Everything's backward if you're at a small store. So you still can't get it. But
sounds like something we're talking about tonight then.
We're talking about the industry because I posted something, Fergal, on Facebook the other day that Sue and I needed a miracle. Sue's my wife.
Yeah.
And, I said we needed a miracle, and we do, because then RJ checked in on me and goes, "Hey, I don't like seeing shit like that. So what's going on?" And I told him, I said, the industry is dead. It is literally overnight. The rug fell out from underneath all of us.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about the West Coast. I don't know about the East Coast. I'm talking about mid-America, Midwest.
Well, it's so you're gonna laugh, and maybe you will, maybe you won't, because I can profess deep prophetic thoughts. I try, I don't say I try not to, but I got so much going on, so sometimes it's not like just let it go and talk about it. But when I did this, I was in a very interesting place. I had an opportunity to either move with my operation, my bank, to another state, or take a buyout and stay where I'm at and just get my buyout and be good. And I chose at that time, with half the debt I have now, to take this venture because got this series of ridiculous, I'm a faith man, and I've been through a lot. I lost my mom 12 years ago, long story short, went through the wilderness, came out of it, found my wife was diagnosed with bipolar 2. We went through heart attack, as you know, RJ, a lot of stuff, right? Just all kinds of different things. And then, somewhere along the way, I fell like I literally drove the car off the cliff and realized like I'm out of solutions. What do I do? And so I got this, all things kind of came together, got this message and did this store. And, my wife supported me. It was actually her idea. She's the one that said, after that job and situation, she's like, I'd rather you die on your feet than live on your knees, which was an interesting word to say. So I went the route. I'm still out here breaking it down. We've had our times. I mean, these last 3 months, I've questioned this job day in and day out. I wonder, when do I cut and I'm a banker. So I'm looking at this purely from a financial standpoint. When do I walk away? When do I stop on this? It's insane. But I'm gonna tell you like this, man, and it's gonna sound off the beaten path. That miracle is, first off, it's everywhere, and that's why I said when I was in the back room with you guys, mindset, because I'm starting to realize, it's my faith, number one, but beyond that, it's been just an interesting dynamic. Like I said, we're going through the same things. Like money's tight, you're just trying to figure this out, you're trying to make this work. I'm busting my ass over here, excuse my language, trying to make this support this business here, and it's crazy, but we just got invited. So I'll give you an example. Motor City Comic Con has been closed since December. I mean, you can't get in there, right? I mean, I've not been able to get in there for 2 years. Like, it's just, first we didn't have the money because I'm a brand new store. Then we didn't have the product, and we're trying to ensure we have enough of that. They invited us in and like literally setting it up for us to come in there. And then, I wasn't even going to do free comic day because, last couple months I've been tight. I'm not even really buying too much because I'm just like, look, when I make this inventory buy and no one's buying in, I'm owing money for nothing that's selling. And it's going to end up sitting in my rack. So I'm just trying to see what we can move out of the store. And so, you go through
what we're trying to do.
Go through all that. People watching, by the way, who are going to Free Comic Book Day, understand that those are not free comics to the retailers. The retailers are buying those comics.
Oh yeah, I just
bought
those. So I put Comic Day.
Rate, but
yeah. So I just pulled together Free Comic Day. So again, I was just going to mention. So we weren't even going to do that. Like I wasn't even like my spirit wasn't even right. There was so much going on in my life. I just wasn't even feeling it in a spiritual sense. But I said, again, a little message, little rebuild of the faith, the mindset, which is so critical to what you're trying to do. The mindset, which changes everything out there. It's the matrix. It's all here, and it changes it all, man. So we did it, and in 4 days, I pulled together 2 artists, a Pokemon expert, 2 cosplayers, and 2 restaurants going to show up, bring food. We're going to do a free movie night, and I haven't even started advertising for this, and we've got hundreds of people asking about this, and it's just we're putting out into the Spider-Verse, and it's just so what I say to you, and I promise you it's going to sound crazy, but it's true. A mindset changes everything, right? It's a mindset, right? So it's a problem. You got faith backing you up, but there's always a solution, right? So we're on a 3-phase process. We're picking up our subscription base. I'm tired of watching these stores that have that are killing it out there online with their pre-orders, and I'm not a part of that. So we're gonna catch that wave. We're gonna catch that wave through eBay. It's a pain in the butt, but we're gonna catch it. It's a pain in the butt, but we're going to catch it. Then we're going to catch that wave through that community involvement in our stores. I love your store. I love what you do. You do everything I do. The only thing different I would say between you and us is myself, because 22 years I've been selling the invisible. So 22 years I've had the ability to hone how to talk to people and how to, and then I'm passionate. So I use a system that I built over 22 years, which creates the success I have in my store. And it's just a system.
I've told Fergal on previous shows about how you've got the big movie area set up there, with the couches and the big screen, and people come in for movie nights, and the different. You're the biggest. Are you still the biggest Godzilla dealer that side of the Mississippi?
In the Midwest?
Wow,
yes.
That's dope. Yep. That's absolutely dope. And so for me, if I were in your position, that's a niche. So any niche has to create, or the whole goal as a business person is someone who comes at this. Again, I say 2 things are really important. I can hit you with a crap ton of knowledge that's purely business driven, that will just sit down and say, if you did X, Y, and Z, you can monetize that value. Or I can tell you that will do it, but without the faith, you won't execute. It won't come across natural, and you won't make others. Because remember, when you start a parade, which is all we're trying to do, because I think you're just like me, you're tired of the way this game is played, because we're the only industry where we're built against to fight each other like gladiators, where we get no support from the supplier, no ability to understand what we're selling, no forewarning, and then they keep jamming us down the hill with 17 covers that you just got to hold one because you're not sure one person's going to ask for that one cover and you don't have it. And that that loss leader is designed to help bring people in so that you can move other stuff to the opportunity that you have in the store where there's a greater margin. And so they're killing all of us. When you can go to a grocery store, there's a Coke rep putting a Coke display out, but we can't get that in the comic business. And we're the purveyors of a $7 billion a year industry. We are the gatekeepers of it. There's nobody going to talk about James Gunn unless they come to a comic store. You've seen his trailers, right? He puts 3 comics on the back end. I own all of them. I know the stories front to back. No one's going to see those movies unless they hear those stories. So we're the gatekeepers, guys, and that's why I'm trying to change this game. It deserves to be changed. We have to be big enough. That's my franchise. We're going to get big enough so at some point we can build a table they have to come to. Because if they come to our table, we won't have to beg for scraps from theirs.
So Dave, you reached out to me on this a couple of weeks ago, and then, like you said, I called you again the other day to find out what was going on here. Where is your position? What has happened in the past year with Cosmic Comics? Because you were expanding, you opened a new store, not a comic store, you opened an antique store. So I'm like, business is good for Dave. He's branching things out. Where was the turning point? What was what happened in comics?
I can't pinpoint the day it happened, but it's like one weekend I went to bed and we had come off a great week, and then that Monday came around and it's like somebody yanked the rug out and we started watching. So we got through the holidays and we had a decent holiday. Now, and we were talking with a lot of other business owners in our area, and you have to look at 2021 as a total mutation of a year because everybody had free money, a lot of government handouts and so on. So it stimulated everything, and people were buying comics left and right. 2021 was a banner year for everybody. Then 2022 comes along and you're going, okay, well, I'm not seeing the same numbers as 2021. And as I started talking with other shop owners in our area, we realized basically in 2022, you have to start all over from scratch. It's almost like, so what was going on in my head is I can't believe we've gotten this far and we have to start all over. And because that's what it feels like to us. We lost subscription people because they didn't have the money anymore to stay on with subscriptions. The few that we have now, they have even cut back their titles. So what's happening is, here's 2021. We're up real high. 2022 comes in, we drop down a little bit. Coming out of the gate of 2023, I'm down even lower now, percentage-wise. And now everybody's, the economy is playing on everything. I have an antique store, but let's face it,
inflation is real.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's real.
We just did we have an antique store. We opened this up almost a year ago. And coming out of the gate, it was fun. We were getting some feedback. And then we did an antique show last weekend where we sat there for 6 hours and nobody even bought a thing. So, I'm seeing, and not only that, I'm seeing the trend in the comic book industry. Okay. I have my notes here, so I'm just going to willy-nilly do some stuff. Yeah. Independent comic wise, the independent comic is dying. I no longer have the foot traffic I once had. No one is buying DC. No one is buying Marvel except for my core subscription people. Independents are gone. I mean, we already got Valiant laying off half their staff. Aftershock has filed Chapter 11. IDW is real close to filing Chapter 11.
IDW just came off the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah, when they lost the Hasbro license, it went away. Everything went away.
So yesterday they came off the New York Stock Exchange and they laid off 39%.
Yeah, they've got Godzilla. IDW's got Ninja Turtles as well. They got Star Trek, but it doesn't matter. It's not, and they got Last Ronin, which is still Ninja Turtles, and Lock and Key. That's Valiant actually. It's not going to save them, and it's a shame. And what I'm also hearing from my customers is that no one's liking the writing in the new comics. That's why no one's buying them. I mean, predominantly, in fact, I just talked to John before I got on here, a guy who volunteers for us. He looked up, and our number one seller is back issues, and then it would come into manga and trade paperbacks. Well, if you're looking at the trends of what's going on with other stores, they're going to tell you the same thing. Manga is outselling everybody, DC and Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
I just heard today, this blew my mind. Scholastic. You know, you go to school and you get the little paper form and you fill out, you know, and you get Dogman, obviously, through Scholastic, which is the #1 book that kids are reading today is Dogman.
It's the number 1 through 6 out of the top 10.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And in the top 700.
Just like Captain Underpants was. I mean, at one time, Captain Underpants had that same. Dogman was just the next iteration of Captain Underpants.
Yeah. But in that top 700 titles, DC and Marvel are up into the 700, or the upper 600s. Scholastic is down in the top 10.
Yeah.
You know, and it just blows my mind. And so what's happening is Marvel and DC are renting Spider-Man out to Scholastic.
Yeah.
That's where they're making their money because they're not selling the comic books anymore.
Yeah.
Worth a damn. I mean, and you said it, Fergal, we got too many titles too.
Yeah.
What?
That's the thing is they don't, you know, there's so many things wrong, right? And the problem is, and this is all, and I do believe there's a correction necessary. So a counterweight to that argument is that I do also talk to stores, and I know stores that are killing it, and I know stores that are dying on the vine. I know internet stores that are doing extremely well, that have a good model, and they've done extremely well. They've figured out how to work a pre-order business where it's, you know, they get it prepaid. People don't change their minds. So they've built a great, and so like I've got buddies who are internet only and have built an amazing model where it's, you know, because they've taken the eBay approach on their internet sales. They've just gone broad, flat, and wide, and they've been able to pick up what they can't pick up. And they might lose a little bit of money, but what they're gaining in that process allows them to maintain a nice bed of rice, if you will, that they can build on top of. And they've been able to do that. And so I'm also a purveyor of content, right? Content is beginning to shift. You know, our experience is concierge driven. So our niche is the model that we operate. I get a lot of new customers in. I get a lot of new people every day, new people, at least a lot of new people who wouldn't find books. Because one of the things I saw when I dug into the research on this was that all comic stores tend to follow the same 25-30% of customers, and that's really those hardcores. And I understand they're part of what keeps you in business, but like every other business that we're seeing, whether it is Bed Bath & Beyond or any other business, if we don't create opportunities to broaden your market, you lose your market. And while there are a lot of businesses that will fall, there are many that will succeed and will figure it out. And so there's still money in the game.
But
that's what a lot of comic stores did.
But and I've done it. I mean, you're broadening the market. Okay, I understand your thought process, Fergal.
Yeah.
From my insight, running my shop for 5.5+ years now, is as much as you try to broaden your market, you can you broaden your market, but you oversaturate the market.
Yeah. Because
right now you've got so many independent, and we're talking about like the deep. I call them the alleyway independents that RJ's dealt with, you know, and I carry some of those titles. And, you know, when I first got them from RJ, man, they blew out. They blew up. They were great. People were loving that. But now I'm seeing where people aren't even going for that right now. The market itself, I'm seeing, and I hate to say it, the collectability market's where it's at. And even that is really tight.
Oh,
so,
for sure.
You know,
I mean, this is a tough period to weather.
Yeah,
this is a tough period to weather. I mean, there's no doubt financially, this is a tough period to weather. And I'm not, and
I don't know how we will weather it, because I see your majors, DC and Marvel, who got gazillions of dollars. Okay, so they're not going to go anywhere. But they no longer care about the consumer, and they definitely don't care about the LCS stores.
No.
Okay.
That's
case in point. Last week was Superman's 85th anniversary. DC did absolutely squat for it. There was no Superman Day.
Overshadowing it.
What was that?
It was all Warner's 100th anniversary overshadowing that.
Yeah, so they did what they do. They released in select theaters the Superman movie with Christopher Reeves.
Yeah, the 1978.
That's great. Did you give free tickets away for it? No. Okay. Did you have any kind of posters that you sent out to promote that for said theater? No. Was there anything pure? Was there Superman Day? No. It wasn't even a Batman Day this year. I mean,
I think that's part of the reason. So this is part of the reason why I'm, again, this sounds audacious, and it is audacious. This is why I did what I did. I'm on a bit of a mission, and it's going to sound like I'm like one of the members of Clerks or something, but I'm on a bit of a mission personally, because I just believe that this industry, without gatekeepers like ourselves, they tried the independent market. They tried the direct-to-consumer market. That almost killed the industry as well. So the gatekeepers are and these guys know that they have to make these money in this movies. At some point, if the model falls at a higher level, it falls because they didn't invest at the bottom level. And it's happened. I mean, these are cycles. And it's happened. There are cycles, but I firmly believe that collectively they have been able to tear apart the voices. So and this is, so I'm gonna put the banker and the business hat on. Industries, or any industry that collectively finds its voice is an industry that succeeds. Any industry that brings a voice together in a unified fashion succeeds. It's clear. It's very clear. If you unify a voice, you create change in an industry. I mean, I can sit down, I can give you 27 business cases where if you unify a voice across the spectrum, you succeed in an industry. The guys out there where the money is very tight, where the people have knives at every corner, the guys up at the top, the guys making these billion-dollar movies that are just dropping dollars and know they can live in their fancy mansions and wherever they're doing and what they're doing, they have no vested interest in a unified voice being able to invest. It's like the railroad company, why the derailments keep happening every other week, even though we're watching this and no one's really investing in simple solutions to fix the problem. There's not a unified voice. For this industry, they don't listen to you until you're big enough to listen to. So obviously you still got to weather through the problems, but there are other ways to create this voice. One of the things I'm trying to do with this whole process is come up with these methodologies. I'm trying to drive these processes. I'm really dissecting from a businessman standpoint, from a banker standpoint, not even from an owner standpoint, but for just because there's the owner. As I've been a banker for 20 years, there are two dynamics. There's the owner, and then there's the banker. The owner knows something, the banker knows something else. And so in order to get access to Campbell, you have to get past the banker. The banker gets an unfettered view of what the owner's doing. So that gives the banker, and the banker's got to be dispassionate and look at the whole piece and dynamic. So I'm trying to look at it as an owner and as a banker, kind of thinking about the general industry. Now, one of the things that we're doing is we're partnering with a local theater. So, and we're just getting ready to set that up with a pretty prominent local theater out here in the Midwest. And what we're planning to do with that is when we do movies, when movies come out, big movies, I'm going to hire cosplayers, hand out a free comic book, give my card out, create an audience. I mean, these are just it's flat and wide. That's just one example.
That's one thing I've heard people complain before when these movies come out to theaters. Marvel doesn't have a spinner rack right there in the store, in the theater lobby. Saying,
and so they leave it to the independent theater owner to do all that crap.
Yes.
Yeah.
They don't want to get behind. Once again, I told you they don't care. They don't want to get behind anything. And, and now I tell you the truth, Disney / Marvel and Warner Brothers, DC, Spectrum, whoever owns AT&T, whoever owns DC now, all they're doing is phoning in. And you can tell me till you're blue in the face that these movies are making money. They make it the first week and then they tank after that.
Yes. The last 3 or 4 have been pretty darn horrible. I mean, they've been pretty darn horrible.
We just watched Ant-Man. It was terrible.
Yeah. I mean, the last several of them, they've not been at their best. But I'm going to go back to, I'm going to put this is the entrepreneur. This is the kind of, and maybe it's because I don't have 20 years in. Maybe it's because my 20 years was spent on the dispassionate side, that I take a different view, in just the sense that I can see, I know enough.
We'll make a cynic of you yet.
No, I know businesses. I know locals in my area killing it out here. I know I've talked to some pretty decent.
But how are they? What are they? When you say killing it? Are they doing better than they did last year?
They're pushing up against last year, so I consider that to be in a tight market killing it. If you're not stepping back in a significant way, if you're not experiencing a significant step down, then I consider you to be killing it. You know, I call it.
You and I have to disagree on that, because killing it, I would say you got to be 10%, 15% over what you've done last year to kill it.
Oh, of course.
But remember, if you're breaking even, you're just neck and neck. That's good. That's not a loss.
That's the owner piece, though. That's the owner piece. And so I would say take back a second and look at the market economics, right? So you did a very good job of explaining the market economics, and they are very clear, right? So you take those market economics and you apply that to the formula, which is there's a formulaic approach to that. So you take the market economics, you apply it in. We're not obviously service-based industry, so we're not like doctors or lawyers or other people who can raise revenues on a consistent basis based on inflation. We're retail. We're retail-driven business.
Customer service, right?
That's it. So you're always going to experience whatever Walmart experiences, whatever Target experiences. You're going to get a much greater rebound effect as a smaller local mom and pop, where they have the capital to access to weather, or like a Funko that can throw 30 million of them in a landfill and still survive.
That's. Funko Pop. Don't even get me going on
about
Funko.
Comic stores having to expand their market base. Well, what did comic stores do? They expanded by bringing in, Dave's got Mount Funko right there when you come in the door off to the right.
I do, and I still have it.
He's got the Island of Independence. That's great stuff there.
And then I have a shelf of Godzilla, So the thing is, and I get what you're saying, Fergal, and I love your positivity. And I totally get where you're coming from. The thing is I look at things from a business point of view. Yes, I'm a geek, but I went into doing this from a business point of view. I've always been a businessman. Everything I do is still from a business format.
Yeah.
Can we survive? Can we continue to pay rent, keep the lights on, make our customers happy? My wife and I have had to start cutting so much. In fact, we're cutting back tremendously on even carrying new comics, because new comics are filled with what I think are some of the most horrible writers. And I'm going to talk about independent ones. I do have to cut back on that, because if I'm sitting, if I've got independent comics sitting on a shelf and nobody's reading it, I cannot, in my mind, keep it going. I can't keep issue 4 and 5 and 6.
I don't know if this gets me on a thing, but I only buy maybe 1 or 2. Like in the last 3 or 4 months, I've only bought maybe 1 or 2 weeks a month. That's about it. And I'm lucky if I do that in a given month. I don't have to have every title every week. I have 1 or 2 a month. I use the rest to pull off my back orders. I use the rest to get rid of the stuff that's on my shelves. Bring that down, so that way I'm not drowning in inventory. Because at some point when you hit that inflection point, you're done. Once you get to a point, you got to walk away.
That's where we're at. I mean, I am sitting on so much back stock, and we're blowing them out. We're blowing them out, 1 for 3, 2 for 5, 5 for 10. A lot of them, if they're independents and they're sitting in that box for more than a year, I take them out of the system. They're going to the dollar box. I mean, we lose money. We've already lost some money, because you have to look at your profit margin. The longer something sits there, the less profit you make on it. So year after, except for Godzilla, you never lose. Yeah, Godzilla will always be worth money. So
JR's got an interesting question in the chat.
Okay.
Because Fergal, you brought up about the unified voice of the retailers coming together.
Yeah.
And it seems like there's a push to cause division, because the retailers are sitting there saying, hey, my cash drawer is empty. And the comic marketplace is saying, comics are doing better than ever. Yeah. They're doing great.
Sure, they pad numbers, because the numbers you're seeing aren't just comics. The numbers you're seeing have comics in it, trade paperback numbers in it, and manga in it. So of course they're inflating the number. Yeah, they are inflating the number. And
well, they don't have to count. They don't have to count what's sold. They count what's sold from a supplier standpoint, not from a retailer standpoint.
Okay,
one of the reasons I spent the last 6 months working on, and I'm working on a web-based tool, an app. I've got a couple partners on it that are working on a predictive sales analysis app. One of the things that we've been looking at is just taking the best of things like Key Collector, CLZ, and some other additional things out there, and creating something that allows us to predictively determine how we're buying, because we're buying 60 days. We're literally buying 2 months in advance, and you're making guesses every week on FOC.
You have to, because there's nothing that's telling you what's going to be.
No idea. I don't even. I'm going to let out another secret. I haven't done that since I opened my store. There's no way. On that, when I saw that model, I was like, "Are you effing kidding me? You want me to make guesses on a crowd I don't know what's going to buy? I'd rather be behind the 8 ball and let someone else catch something and make my own mark than worry about trying to keep up on FOCs every single week. I don't worry about that anymore. I gave up on. I haven't started. That was the first thing I threw away when I jumped in, and I spent a lot of time looking at it. And I was like, okay, this is how you do it. Okay, I understand. So I wrote down some numbers. I looked at just running that for a year, what that would get me. And I realized if I had ran that for 6 months on my current cash flow, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. I'd be a bankrupt man, and I would have been done. You know, it would have been just over. I mean, I'm not saying we're not hanging by a thread. We're all hanging by a thread. But, you know, that's where my positivity comes into play. That's how I drive, you know, because you can, you know, I mean, it's going to sound stupid. I know it does. But, because of the series of crazy ass promises that were made to me when I went back to my faith, and I found it in this way that changed my life. And this is an all dead ass seriousness. When these series of crazy promises that were made to me by the all heavenly, and I was at a point where I could easily have just said I could have gone one way or the other, and I was pretty much at the end of my rope. And these promises were made, and I walked away from them, and I didn't believe a damn thing of them because I'm a smart man, and I know that things aren't supposed to work that way. I can see the math. I'm smart enough. I'm not a dreamist. I'm not an idealist. I'm smart enough to see the math. And yet every single one of these crazy ass promises continue to come true, but I got to operate. Now, I'm not saying you can't be stupid. You got to be smart, but, I've been able to see solutions to problems. I've been able to figure out ways that I'm able to move around. I'm trying to, and it's hard. I work 2 jobs. I work 2 full jobs that don't let either one take the foot off the gas at all. My son says to me, and I love him to death, I miss you, Dad. I mean, I got a 14-year-old that needs a dad. And I'm working so much that I haven't been able to spend as much time with him because I'm running and gunning. But I got to believe that what I'm doing has greater meaning and greater purpose. Even if I don't see it, even if I don't understand it, I'm called here for a reason. I could be doing a gazillion other things. I love it, but I don't got to own it. It wasn't an easy job. I could have been a banking consultant and tripled my salary in a year and just gone independent. But I did this because I love this. This changed my life. This to me changed where I was at. So, you know, it's crazy. I love where you're at, and you got to make a business decision. If it's cutting you too deep and it's taking you down the road, you got to make a decision. And I get that. I'd tell you that if I was your banker. I'd sit down.
I know
you got to cut back on inventory because, you know, you can't sit there and be buying 100 copies of something and have 99 left over on the shelf 2 months later.
Exactly. And we order very, very tight now. All right. Yeah. So where I may have had 4 issues of Batman on the shelf that haven't sold, and I just move them over into the Batman spot, I now have 1. Yeah. You know, and now I'm just going to carry just a handful of the core titles.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, because I have to go with what I know works in my area.
Exactly.
Well, that's what Michael talks about all the time. He's like, he would look through the catalog and say, this looks like a really good book. And before he'd order it, he's like, who's asked for this?
Yeah,
nobody.
Exactly, and that's the way I do it too. In fact, when I just did Diamond this week for the month, I didn't even look at anything new. I glanced over and went, nope, and I realized I'm not going to be bringing much in because, all right, the speculation market is gone. You can have somebody go, oh, you got to get this one, but no. The speculation. Remember what 2 years ago, RJ, and you do too, Fergal, when everybody get Batman 181 because it's the first appearance of whatever her name is. Yeah, Punchline, and it blew off the shelves.
Yeah, and
every store was making money off of that. But now there's no speculation. Speculation market has dried up. You know, and you have to. You know, we've even stopped buying collections. I'm like, because I go, what do you got? Well, you know, we got Spawn and stuff from the 90s. No, I don't want it. I've got tubs and tubs of that in the back room. I don't need more of that crap. Give me some 60s. Give me some 70s. Give me Hulk 181, whatever. Yeah. You know? Yes.
Speculation was dependent on the fact that when there was something that happened in the comics that was important, you knew that it was going to stay important.
Yeah,
when
because
Gwen Stacy died,
DC and Marvel got behind it. Right.
So an area that I'm putting.
Fergal, you lost your audio.
Hold on. I think this thing is funny as hell. I apologize. This is a brand new headset that my work gave me, so I'm trying it out tonight.
Give it back to him.
One of the things that I'm starting to become, I'm spending an inordinate amount of time researching, is the concept of social media, and I'm working on a ton of social media strategies. I mean,
yes and no.
There's some interesting game going on in that social media space right now. Content, and again, I get all of the things. Like I've been hearing this, and I continue to hear this, and I can respect. I love your knowledge, and I would never. I think you're one of the. I mean, you've been doing this a while. You've had 5.5. I'm less than a year, so who am I to talk, right?
And I've been doing this actually since the early '80s. So
yeah, so I mean, I'm not one. I go a completely different way, which good or bad or good. I don't know whether that makes me better or worse. I just know that I know this. I know this, and I know it clear that there's a direction to be made. This is a tough time. So I say two parts. One, you can't run away from what we're dealing with. It is a very tough time. It's going to cost a lot of stores their stores. It's going to cost a lot of businesses their. It's going to do that. It's done that more.
I refuse to be one of those, though. I will stick in.
That's it. And the second thing is that the market consumerisms continue to change. They've been very fickle. Dollars do get spent, even if they're tight. You just got I just refuse to buy into the concept that no problem that we face has a solution that cannot be equally or greater applied.
And I understand that concept, and I agree with you. But Fergal, I look at it from not just I see what you're saying, but you're up against a wall. You're up against 100%. A rock and a hard place. Right? You're rolling the stone of Sisyphus right now. Okay,
100%.
Because you're up against companies, the big companies that don't care to ever put out a comic book format.
100%.
They want to go digital because that's where they want to go with it.
100%.
Okay, they don't care about the little guy. They could care. Walmart doesn't give a crap if they carry comics. Target doesn't give a crap if they 100%. Carry comics. Even the bookstores don't give a shit if they carry comics.
100%.
Okay,
100%.
The only ones who give a crap are the LCS guys. Because this is our backbone in our life.
Which is why we may end up going down to one shelf of new comics.
Exactly, and I'm one of them that's going to do that.
It may end up coming down to that, but where my point of contention, where my point of differentiation, it's only a point of differentiation as I see it, is that when I'm faced and I'm confronted with solutions, I have gone through enough and I've been through enough down markets. I've seen what most people don't. I've seen it in a way that most people haven't, because I've been able to sit at tables with the likes of Bill Gross, and I've seen things like I've seen things that uncomfortably realize like it's a lot, right? Like, how do you overcome it? And I've tried, and I've seen solvings of situations, and I've spent a lot of time digging into the, like one of the things I did when I started this, I researched every store in every store in Michigan. I went to every one of them, and I started falling back on just different methodologies and started looking at consumerisms, looking at behaviors, looking at a greater goal and a trend of where I can make the market work for me and figure out where my points of dissension is. Like a great example is, as big as the internet is, people have no idea how to use it.
Mm-hmm.
As big as the internet is, as much as they can go into and use the internet for 100% of their solutions, and they can, they don't know how to use it. They don't know how to truly grasp the power of what it can do. And so that's why I focus on that content. Now, it's not necessarily the content that's been driving my thought process. I've got two mentors that have been able to turn into this market their affiliate game. They've been able to work their affiliate game in some incredible ways. And again, I don't base these things on farcical facts. I have spoken with folks and sat down and looked at their numbers, and I said, how are you pulling this off? What are you doing? And they break down the logic. They've given me some background and stuff, and they've done the hard lifting. They followed somebody else's shoes, but they figured out how to monetize and go flat and wide and monetize. And they're because the market, it's going to drop, and there's going to be a lot of tight belts and tight days, but future favors the bold. And like you said, which I loved, and I'd stand with you on that, Dave, is that you're not going to give up. You're not going to be one of those stars. The hell am I? We'll both be standing there together, right? And the trick for me isn't that the hell am I? I made that declaration. I can see that vision, but it's going to be, I'm going to come out of the other side smiling. I'm going to figure something out because there's enough in the world. There's enough situations, right? Great example of this. And their history bolds everything, but this is the banker side of me. So again, business owner, banker side, I think we both got great knowledge. Jamie Siminoff, when he came out with Ring, that didn't exist. That just didn't exist. No one would have thought that it exists. That could not come together. And if it was just one person, I'd point to Jamie Siminoff, but it's not just one person. It's not just one product. It's not just one category, and it's not just one process. And I've spent my career studying the successful traits of successful companies and followed it and read a ton of books on the craft in this area.
Right. But and in that regard, you're talking about a product that was a tangible product,
100%,
that needed to be invented at the time that it came on. In fact, I remember when he was on Shark Tank,
no one knew
shot him down.
Exactly. So that's where I would say chair side quarterbacking only gets you chair side results, because no one saw that. Like, we can say that in common sense today, but at the end of the day, chair side quarterbacking will simply just always end you up in the same way. So someone had to be the guy to see the vision. He had to create the parade that someone would eventually follow behind him. And it works, right? Everything you said about every battle, and I'm a Navy vet, so I'll take it a step further. They send these guys out as bullet sponges. I've been on many a ship. I've seen many a thing. Unfortunately, been party to too many situations. They send folks out there with the substandardest of equipment. They send people out there unprepared in many ways, in some ways. So it really does get down to, and I've been a commissioned guy for a long time in good and bad markets before I became a banker. And I worked in DC for 5 years. So I worked in markets where I've been up against some very interesting dynamics, including Atlanta, including DC, good and bad markets, as well as Michigan and Florida. I've had to face every market there conceivably is and had to succeed because I just didn't have a choice. When I was backed up as a commissioned guy and I got my only, I have a framed copy of it, my first check and my only check that I ever got at zero. And that was a commitment to me because I will never get a check at zero again. So when I saw that, it became a matter of, and there's a transformational statement, I'll say it, and I believe it, and maybe I'm the only guy that does. You can't wish or ask the universe to give you what you want. That's just not how it's going to work. So if you think that's going to be how it happens, I hate to break it to everybody, you can't say, universe, give me this. It doesn't work that way. The universe only gives you what you give it. So vibrationally, you have to become what you seek from the universe.
Okay, because let me pose a question to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to be your counterpart on this one.
Of course,
right? I'm going to be the.
I wish I could draw like little devil horns and little
No, you should. You put devil horns on me. I'll be he's a good cop, I'm the bad cop. Good cop.
That's it. We're still going to get a confession, though. We're still going to get a confession. Get the law and order dumb. I might even just get that on my phone just in case we get to the point.
So, okay, but you've got an industry, Fergal, that doesn't want to reinvent itself. It is an old industry, okay? So we have an industry that doesn't want to reinvent itself. It doesn't want to do any more printing. So it wants to go internet, and I'm trying to understand what this J.R. Exner said down here. He said, the best possible end of the internet with one app owned by Elon Musk that offers payment clearance, AI art, and OnlyFans all bundled into one.
Yeah, okay. He's talking about
that's just porn and beautiful art and NFTs. I got it.
Yeah.
So we're already in the
digital art at the same time. That's just redundant now, Fergal.
So it is. So all right, but we're talking about an industry. What you're saying is industries that want to continue to grow and move on. And we're talking about an old industry that has just is stuck.
Here's the thing I want to add in here. Fergal, you brought up people who invented something new and went out there. at the comic shops, they're not inventors. That's not up to them to come up with the new
let me now
We're
it's point
retailers.
counterpoint. Now we're getting to the game. Now you're getting my juices flowing. I feel like I need to take my sweater off up in here, and I'm feeling a little heated behind the collar.
What are you going to buy from people who aren't?
We are inventors. We are inventors. We are inventors of imagination. We are inventors of gatekeepers. They don't realize it. People don't realize that is what we are. We are the last bastion where people get to come in and not have an attitude. We are the last hope, the last space that you can go to and have a slight amount of escapism. We are inventors.
Yes,
we are purveyors. We absolutely are.
More and more people don't care about that anymore.
That's
no, brother. We are in a world of this right here.
Oh, okay? Of course we're in a world of this.
All we're in.
This
so
is
when
not.
You come into I watch kids come into my shop. Their parents are bringing them in because daddy used to go to a comic book store.
Of course.
And so he wants to bring his child into a comic book store to get him into what it was like when he was a kid. And here's what the kid does the whole time he's here.
Okay. You're not going to get them all. You're 100%.
Okay. Well, I got news for you. I'm not going to get 8 of them out of 10.
Oh, okay? See, this is why.
Now we're back to numbers again.
Okay, so I'm going to counterpoint that. I've actually proven that wrong, and I've proven that wrong because I'm
out here and prove it wrong. I'm in the real Midwest.
No, for sure. No, for sure. Michigan, Illinois,
actually overcome it.
Michigan, Illinois, Chicago is definitely Michigan's backyard, but that's a completely different story. We're the backyard over the right. You guys got good hot dogs, though. I'll give it to you. I love Illinois. But Michigan, and I'm not saying that I have the game plan or the winner, and I definitely have some rival with Illinois. I got a lot of buddies out there. My son's godfather lives out there, so I love it. But I just believe that there are headwinds and there are headwinds. There are places where you can pour your energy to, and there are places where you can sit there and go, I can't. It's impossible. And again, I don't know the economics that you have, so I don't understand. I know my economics, and so, again,
and where do you live at?
I live in Farmington Hills.
Where?
I have a shop. I live in Farmington Hills, Michigan.
Michigan, okay. Yeah. So, and I am just outside of St. Louis.
Okay. Oh, so you're not in Illinois. Yeah. I thought you were in Illinois.
No, I am in Illinois. I am known as Metro East Illinois. Okay. So we're Metro East St. Louis. So we're just about 20 minutes over the bridge from St. Louis. Okay. So we're on their back door.
So do me this favor. Do me an opportunity. Go talk to your banker. Go talk to any banker, and just or just take a look around and just completely take all eyes off the plate and just start digging into and specifically look into retailers that are surviving and thriving in this market. There are some, because if there weren't, I wouldn't be able to do business every day.
The comic industry.
Industry, because again, you're proclaiming comics are an industry with a lot of headwinds, and I would present you in a comfortable session 10 people in 10 industries saying the exact same thing about their industry. Doesn't matter, but I'm just asking you to broaden your search. Let's take the focus off the comic industry because it's like-minded people saying like-minded things. So let's keep them out of the game for a second because you already know their points of view. Let's just take 10 retail industries, do some digging. Look at those that are surviving. Look at the ones that start Googling things like surviving in this market, industries that are retail industries driving for growth in this market, unusual, innovative strategies. Who's breaking open? Where are they breaking open? How are they breaking open? Look at different opportunities. Take yourself through and, instead of looking at social media for the mind-numbing escapism that it provides, take your head off on that and just look at a couple of them and say, how are they getting these links in there? And dig into some of those dynamics. Again, I'm a fan of affiliate marketing. As I told you, I have 2 friends that are doing this. When I told you they're doing extremely well, both of them are running content. They're selling things. They're doing this. Now they're just straight retailers. They're resellers. I don't even call them retailers. They're what we call resellers. So they're selling. They're selling, again, the internet. They're just selling shit. These are not smart people. They just figured out some situations. So they use a lot of social media to move their product. And they are being able to draw an income in excess of 30, 40 grand in affiliate money on a monthly basis. They are driving great traffic. They are creating great opportunity through their marketplace. Now, again, You're always going to come up against something that's going to draw you back. And if that were the case, and I don't believe it's for anybody, you would always step back. You're not built that way. You're not the guy who's going to give up unless every dollar he's got in his pocket is in that business. Your blood's already on the walls. So you're going to give the rest of it because your blood's already on the walls, no matter what happens.
For the kids on the phones, we hear about that all the time. There's kids that aren't reading books, period. Not just, not getting interested in comic books. They're, they're texting with their friends, or they're doing whatever's on the apps. My suggestion, and I don't run a business, so don't listen to me on stuff like this, but leverage that. I'll give you 2 examples. I've got some friends at Bad Bug Media. They've been putting out a book called Pocus Hocus. One of every batch of their covers, they put out like 4 different covers. One of them, they don't even put it on the cover that it does this. It's activated. It's an activated cover. If you have this app, you look at the cover, and suddenly the cover comes to life, and it's animated and it's moving, and it gets you excited about the book. The other thing I would say is QR codes. Man, you see kids see a QR code, they open up their camera, they go, "What's this going to?"
So we're actually that's the other thing we're developing moving art through AI QR codes. So I've already sell custom posters in my wall, recreation of comics. I've got a company I work with that does a vinyl over foam board overlay. Any comic cover you want, we can do a custom poster, blow it up. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. We're actually creating QR codes that can create moving comics in that comic that you just have to scan your phone over. So we put that through. Again, originality, opportunity. If Zavlov, and if we can bring him in this room, I would say that's the devil, because he did do Discovery. I don't know. I'm not a fan of Zavlov. I don't get him.
Well, I you know what? I liked him. Are we talking about the guy in DC?
Yeah, DC.
Yeah,
I
liked him I liked him for the first fucking week that he came in.
Yeah, I mean Zavlov is.
Yeah, when he was telling me that Snyderverse is back, I'm like, yeah, awesome. And then what? A month later, he brings in James Gunn and fucking flushes everything down.
Zavlov doesn't have his mind together, but let me be honest with you. He's got James Gunn in place. These guys, the bets that have been made. So again, let's go. We're going to spend a ton of time in the system. By the way, this was something that took me 20 years to figure out. We are all bound by the Matrix. We are all bound by it. So there are very few people that figure out how to break the code of the Matrix. We're all bound by it. Right. We're all in that that micro view of our world. We're trying to operate a view. We're trying to open, let me use an original Doctor Strange line. We're trying to open a peephole that we've been seeing through our entire lives, because that's what we do. That's the job of a banker. So one of the things that I found when I started opening my mind up to possibilities, and it became possibilities. There's realities, there's possibilities, there's opportunities. So, and then there's, I'll do a standard SWOT analysis, strengths, weakness, threats, and opportunities. I'll do that analysis with you all day. We'll break down the numbers. We'll break it back. We'll work on a P&L. We'll figure out what target looks like, and we'll figure out how to achieve that. And I work backward from every target I try to achieve. So, I mean, these are basic P&L breakdowns. I just did an appointment with a dentist today, working through his numbers backward, trying to figure out how to double the expansion of his operatories, how to grow his practice, because he wasn't going to double his building because his wife kept saying to him, "We can't sell it. We're in a market. We double the building. We spend $1 million and not going to make no money." So we just changed the agreement, changed the opportunity, shifted the thinking just slightly. And instead of looking at it from X, we looked at it from Y, and then it became a reasonable opportunity. So that's what my role. Maybe again, training is just a little different. It's formalized for me. It's formalized. It's 20 years. It's been beaten in my brain. It's whether it's your personal finances or it's your business. It's just been beaten in my brain. And I have to come up. My old mentor used to say, never walk into a meeting without at least one new idea. Well, I mean, you're not going to win a client without one new idea. Something they haven't heard from their accountant, their lawyer, anyone at their table. You got to be the person, which means you damn sure better know. And because I work with hundreds of industries, I have spent an inordinate amount of time learning about one new idea in every industry and how to manage it, which it built a muscle reflex up in me. So I just have an opportunity where I see situations like what you're looking at. I say, okay, you've got a beautiful story. You really do. Bigger than mine, better than mine, gorgeous in every way. I'd say that all day, every day. But it's, you've got the reality of your situation. It's very real, and it's enough to cause you to go home and kind of sit up and have a drink that you might not normally have, or puff on a big one that you might have said,
you don't know me very well.
Oh, I understand. I'm going to get off the phone and do my own little business here tonight. But however we relax ourselves.
RG will tell you all about me and my.
I already know. I can look at the glasses and look at the Guy Fieri situation you got going on.
You've got the good bourbon. You've got the good bourbon happening.
But I do know that I have never come across a problem I can't fix. I can't figure my way through. It's not that I'm better or smarter. It's just that my mind is built around this concept that I'm always going to be facing down. If it was always the wall, I wouldn't be married right now. I'm married to a woman with bipolar 2. I wouldn't be married right now. And she's an amazing woman. I mean, she's an amazing woman, but life is tough. Like, I'm going on broke just like you. I'm working every day trying to make $1 out of 50 cents every damn day. $100
I
a
always
week.
call it chasing the almighty dollar.
Look, I'm doing that and I was doing that as a banker. It was killing me. Now I'm doing it double, and I get it.
There was a point where we didn't have to do that, though, in the comic book industry, where we had a dozen or so subscription people. You know, I mean, there was a point there where every week I'd look forward to Wednesday, because that's new comic book day. And I go, man, I can already in my head count the money we're going to be bringing in. And now,
you know what? 14-year-old me would have said, comics on Tuesdays now? Yeah, I'll be there both days.
Yeah. So now, it's like we're actually, and we didn't even touch on this. The worst thing that happened, as much as I lobbied for Diamond to not be the only distributor out there, the two that we got who took over have been nightmarish. Now, Penguin is very easy to work with.
Yeah, they are. They actually. Their payment plan is, if you're big enough, it works. For a store like me, a payment plan will suck you dry. I'm just going to put it to you that way.
Lunar is the devil.
Yeah,
Lunar
it'll suck you dry.
The worst company
we
have ever worked with.
You don't have a phone number, so
you can't talk to anybody.
No, all you need to know about
you can talk with somebody.
All you need to know is try Googling a Luna customer service number. You won't find one. I spent an hour trying to find their number through places that you might not know how to go look for, that I have subscriptions for, so I can dig in and get their corporate number. I still can't find it. So that just tells you everything you know about them. That's why I've got the DC
in the world.
The only books I ordered from DC this last week are free comic book day stuff. I picked up the other stuff from a buddy of mine who already does the order and gives me 50% off. So I picked up a few books from him. I keep it tight. I order a few in Marvel. I probably spent a little bit more, but again, I'm like you. I don't even move them off the bin. I refuse to let my book. I'm not selling my books at $1.
You're doing more on Free Comic Book Day than I'm doing. You know what I'm doing? I'm sticking them up behind the counter, and if you want to come in, fine. And the one who and because let me tell you, you're going to get those people you never see that come in, or you only see them on Free Comic Book Day. And believe me, in my cynical old age, those are not my favorite people whatsoever.
It's like the church being full on Easter.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not going to pay for it. I did one time. I paid for the cosplayer. I did everything you did,
Yeah.
And it was great. It was fun. But at the same time, we can't afford a cosplayer because they cost money these days. At least they do in my neck of the woods. Nobody does anything for free anymore.
Well, I mean, if I told you that I got 2 cosplayers for under $100, you might get mad at me.
That's amazing.
These are brilliant people. These are amazing people. I want to give them a ton of props. And it's, again, this is, and I'd love to just sit down with you because I'm writing a sales book right now. I'm writing a process book. That's one of the things I'm doing. I've spent 20 years honing this craft. Sales is a process. If you're a doctor and you get diagnosed, you go talk to someone who did 8-10 years in school plus 4 years of residency, and you feel good that they're going to cut you open and take out whatever's wrong with you. Sales is no different than that. And everybody guesses at that. And believe me, I used to tell my business owners for 20 years before I got into my space I'm in now. I don't have that conversation now because it feels redundant. I used to say there are 2 yous when you go into business. There's the you that loves what you do, and there's the you that hates what you do. The you that loves what you do is doing it because you love it. The you that hates what you do did not go to school to do this. So you have no idea what you're doing. So you're just doing.
Comics is a totally different industry today than it was 30 years ago because it is an industry today.
Of course it is.
Well, it used to be fun. It's no,
you talk about cosplayers, you got to pay.
I need to bring Dave up to Detroit. Dave, you need to come up here and just have one. We're gonna take. I'm gonna take. If you got a motorcycle, you look like you got a bike. You got to come up here to Detroit, bring your motorcycle up. You look like you're riding a bike. At least your leg.
I got a Buick, buddy. I got a Buick.
Man, I got to take you up here. Put you on my motorcycle.
1987. I was in college. I found the local comic shop. They were opening a new store, and it was like a nice store, like in a strip mall kind of thing. I was so excited for my friends opening a new comic shop because, this was the 50th anniversary of Superman. This was, DC was exploding. Independents were exploding. I showed up at the new comic store on opening day, and I said, "Hey, Jim, can I use the bathroom back there?" She said, "Just around there." I went in the bathroom. I stripped off all my clothes because I had the black tights on underneath, the red tighty whities, the flag T-shirt, a hoodie pulled up over here, chin back, holes cut out, with a great big C on my chest. And Captain Comics stepped out of there to help get kids out of the parking lot and into the store, passing out balloons for free. And he didn't even know I was doing it because I just wanted to be part of the experience.
Yeah, and
that's comics.
Yeah,
I mean, like I said, it used to be fun. I've got one guy, God bless him. His name is Andy. He comes in every Wednesday and he's like, "It is Dynamite Wednesday." And he gets his Vampirella, all of that, man. And he and Zenoscope, and he loves it. He's all excited and everything. And I'm like, man, I miss when people were excited about all that stuff. I used to be so excited. Are they giving you feedback
at all? I mean, are they just stopping coming, or do they say, "Hey, there's nothing for me this week," or "Wow, what happened?"
Most people are just like, "You know what? I got to cut back, man. Things are tight right now," and boom, and they do, and then or they just disappear. Those are my favorite ones. Not where I'm sitting on a bag of comics for them, and I'm like writing them, and they're ghosting me and everything, and
when I hear nothing, falls apart, falls away.
Yeah,
that definitely sucks. Because do you have the subscription guy who's like, "Hey, hold me these titles," and then 3 months later he comes in, but he only wants the 2 that got made on the news because "Hey, I saw that this one was this one came out 2 months ago. It's on my hold list. Here's $4.99 for the cover price. It's a $30 book selling right now." Hello,
is that the wife?
Yeah, but you're still muted, Fergal. Turn your mute button off. You muted yourself on the computer. I can't unmute you. Maybe I can. Nope, I can't unmute you.
I can't. No.
Click the mute button. Click the mute button. Take your mouse. Go down to your picture. There you are.
Hear you. No.
We still can't hear you, but you're just mouthing it now. I heard her laugh.
Put it up. Say can't hear you. Put a sign up. Do you?
No, we cannot hear you.
It's his janky ass microphone he needs to send back.
He doesn't have it on now. He unplugged the mic and now we can't hear a thing.
Put your headphone on. Your headphones on.
He's got to be able to hear. He can't hear us at all.
You took your headphones off.
This is live television, folks.
Hey, can you hear us now?
There it is.
Yes.
Now we're going. I heard your janky ass comment, by the way. that was the funny word. I was telling my wife, we went janky ass up here. That shit went really quick up in this place. Now, I just don't understand. I'm bringing number people up.
You were the one complaining about it earlier.
Oh, I mean, I just took.
There it is. See, there you go.
This is all the bank will give you anyway. This is what the bank does. My bank shall go unnamed, but this is all they give us. This is how we're supposed to smile.
Give it right back to them. Right. Totally.
So these are the LCS guys. This is who I.
Good to meet you.
Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you.
All in right here.
Glad you're in good health. First time we tried to get Fergal on, she fell over and broke her ankle, and she couldn't come in. So that's not a good sign.
Well, I think RJ, we should do a part 2 of this. What do you think?
I'm up for it.
I'm actually going to try to spend a little time with my son this evening.
Dude, I'm going to spend time with my wife, and we got to go rescue
I heard
our
your
dog.
wife laugh, by the way. She was
laughing. She's back here.
janky
She's
ass
watching
item.
on her phone. Yeah.
We're gonna fight it up pretty soon. I'm gonna have to arm wrestle you for the
Next time, I'm wearing my devil horns.
I'm gonna have my little halo.
And you wear
on.
your little angel wings.
That's it. I'm Barack Obama before he made it cool. So I'm gonna bring the fist out here. You know, I'm Irish and African. Like, my name is Fergal. So if you took my mom's maiden name, it'd be Fergal Patrick O'Dowd, and then you'd have to give me a 4-leaf clover. Literally, at that point, you'd have to give me a 4-leaf clover.
Well, RJ will make sure. Fergal, RJ will make sure we get each other's emails, and we'll.
Yes, I can do that. I can make that happen. And we can come back in 2 weeks. Michael will be here to throw in his 40 years of wisdom on the topics.
Yeah, I want to see how he's doing with his, online.
He's doing books. He's doing his online sale. He's
Michael's a genius. He's a
Edward
genius.
Burroughs. I mean, there are gods in this industry. There are people who have made it work. I mean, there are
he's one of them.
Absolutely. But I think for the upstarts, we have never faced more challenges. And I still consider you an upstart, Dave, because you've had your retail for 5 years. You're still an upstart.
Again, you're right. You're facing totally new things. Michael mentioned this 2.5 years ago, and I haven't forgot it. When COVID hit and all the stores were shut down, he's like, this is an industry that survived World War II. It survived hurricanes. It survived, all kinds of things. COVID came, first time it ever shut down.
Well, this is janky ass Fergal here to save the day. Let me just put it to you that way. Just so you know, janky, just watch the face, because in about 5 years or 2-3 years, it's going to be up on Call H winning the Heisman Award. Just check the face out. It's going to happen. You're going to see me on there. I'm going to hang out with The Rock. I'm probably going to give him
There you go.
thing. I'm probably not going to put him
you and me both.
Shake his hand.
You're going to have to get that blue hard hat.
That's how they got me in Lego. I just wanted to. So after an hour and a half, he made me look like Al Roker doing construction. Yes, I'm janky. You literally made me look like Al Roker doing construction.
Well, you've got your Pixar version here, and I finally got one that looked like a Pixar picture.
No black
and
there you go. That looks more like him.
I'm telling you. Well,
oh my God, was that me?
That looks a lot more like you.
Oh my God, you literally! Oh wow, seriously, can you send me that picture? Because that's about to. I'm about to put that on my driver's license. That needs to be what I look like in general. Let that replace my face, not the Al Roker with a construction hat. Because the
Al Roker thing ain't working, man.
If that got to my brothers, I would never live it down. That would stay with me for 10 years. So this can never go to my brothers. They will own that little. They will build that Lego and put it everywhere around my house for the next 5 years. Every time they see me, all I will see is
it'll be the Fergal gnome in the garden.
That's literally.
Oh, you've just given me an idea. Now I'm going to make you all into garden gnomes for the next show.
Hey, I like that. That's awesome.
So I'm working on my Snake Eyes figure. I just decided to do Hasbro Pulse. This is gonna sound stupid because we all can't afford it, but I need to make myself look like Snake Eyes. I need to get my little figure of myself looking like Snake Eyes. I just do.
Perfect.
I got the. I'll show you this real quick before we get off the air. You probably can't see it because I have a horrible camera, but that's my Rashikagi right there, bro.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You don't know. We don't talk about my ninja days. These are all behind me now. I was doing business back then. Soft master, hard master, whole different story.
There you go.
Backup history. We'll just talk. Honey, we don't talk about those days, do we? All right. We'll leave that alone.
Well, guys, we made a little bit of discussion tonight, I feel like. I want to get down to the point where we can start and the reason I made the Lego images for this is I want to get to the point where we can say, here are the fallen over bricks. Let's stack them up. Let's find out how we can restack this and reform it. Bring the success back to the comic stores.
It's going to take a lot of work.
It is.
Yeah.
So,
and
it's
and
perseverance.
And the thing is, you're working with what you got, and you're getting bricks from people who basically don't care about brick making anymore.
Yeah, and like anything, you have two choices: close the doors and go home, or reinvent yourself. So,
bingo! Oh, at some point, do we hear Fergal's running? Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh, I wish we had started this conversation.
I think I know which way we're going to go.
I just want to leave
reinvent yourself, baby.
I'm gonna do it tonight.
I've been around the block almost 60 suns. So
this is
60 trips around the moon.
That's right. He only met me tonight. I was right.
Yeah. And I didn't stay this young looking because I didn't know what I was doing. So
no, and you do look like Guy Fieri. I'm actually wondering when you're gonna show me your big rings. I'm like, you just took me to Flavor Town, dude. You just took me to
Green
Flavor
Lantern,
Town.
baby.
Oh wow!
Oh,
There it is
sweet.
right there. Is that the Green Lantern ring?
Yeah, it's a Green Lantern.
Do you know? We're gonna end it. Do you know the oath?
What's that?
You still remember the oath?
Yeah, but no, I don't. I know most of it. I know most of it.
I'll take you through it, man. In darkest night, in brightest no.
You've already screwed it up, man.
Oh shit!
Oh shit!
In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil.
In darkest day, in blackest night,
no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green
Lantern's light.
And I will shed my light over the forces of darkness. I used to know the Alan Scott quote.
And I will tell you this right now: I'm one of the few who liked the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie.
Oh no, there's at least 2 fans of it. You and me.
Three.
All right.
I like it too.
There's 3. Now my wife.
It was fun. It was fun, and it did exactly what it was trying to do.
He's really good.
She might say the acting, but she likes Ryan Reynolds' ass. Let's just face what it is.
Well, who doesn't? My wife
Nobody's
does
laughing
too.
over there because I know she likes Ryan Reynolds' ass too.
Ryan Reynolds likes Ryan
We
Reynolds.
all have that little thing inside of our head that operates the control. And I'm pretty sure she's got one of those Antonio Banderas controls like my wife does that comes up and screams, "You're talking too much. I'm here for you, Chica." I understand.
There you go.
I understand. It happens. I'm 20 years married at this point. We just had our anniversary.
There you go. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
That's awesome.
2 weeks. 2 weeks we come back and we get the hammers and
back in 2 and 2.
Yeah, we get everything out to rebuild. Thanks for coming on, guys. Appreciate it. Folks in the chat, thank you so much for being here tonight. We don't have a show without you guys. So
Al Roker
we're here.
signing off.
It was a really great pleasure to meet you guys.
Same here. And everybody, while you were here in the chat, while you were here, as always, we just hope you had a blast. Good night.
Yes.